Well, welcome back to Life on Cars, and I hope you're all keeping well. Now, in today's episode, we're back on the Rolls-Royce, but we're doing something different. We're not going to do a repair today. Oh no, we're going to do something that I want to do on the car. So I'm actually going to do my very first modification. Since I've got into Rolls-Royce's Silver Spirits, I've noticed some of them from the factory were fitted with auxiliary front lamps underneath the front bumper, and I fancy doing that to my car. So I've got hold of a pair of lamps from the period, and I'm going to have a go at fitting them underneath the front bumper. So I hope you enjoy the episode. Let's go. So what auxiliary lamps am I actually going to fit? Let me show you. So here we are then. I actually picked these up from an online seller a while back. They are used, but they're in good condition. They just need a good clean up. So what are these? Well, these are actually known as Lucas Square 8 auxiliary lamps. And although they're used, they're in really good condition. As you can see, the reflectors are nice, and the chrome work is all good, just needs a bit of a clean and polish. And the lamp holders are all good as well, nothing wrong with them, they're in nice condition. Chrome works, and the bolts are all present and correct. And I've even got the right covers as well. The only problem with the covers is originally there was a little window in there with a piece of plastic, and unfortunately the plastic has gone brittle with age, and the covers, the little windows that give way. So I'm going to replace those. I'll probably be able to make a new piece of plastic to go, and then kind of glue it on the inside to replace those. But yeah, these will clean up nice, these little covers as well. And these would have been a factory option. So this is the actual lamp that they would have fitted if they'd been optioned in the factory. So yeah, quite excited to get these on. So I'm going to get these cleaned up and ready. I'm going to fit a couple of new bulbs, H3s, because I don't know how long these have been in, probably donkey's years. And then when these are all ready, I'll show you what they look like, and then we'll get cracking with planning the fit. I know you guys like the level of detail that I go to on projects like this. I'm actually using a metal polish on these little stainless steel screws that hold the lights together, and they're coming up lovely. Just polishing the chrome surrounds now. Now I know you can probably still get hold of, well, I have seen some brand new sets of these online. But there's nothing beats the satisfaction of bringing an old pair back to life. Wouldn't you agree? And anyway, a little bit of patina on these, I think will go a bit better with the car rather than having a brand new set on. So why not salvage an old pair that have been left unloved in someone's garage for many years. I only gave £30 for these. So I'll screw these on and then we'll see what they look like. Well, look how those have turned out. Aren't they lovely? Aren't they lovely? Just goes to show what quality these must have been. These Lucas lamps back in the day. I mean, I've no idea how old these are. These could be over 20-year-old. They could be as old as the car, maybe 30-year-old, I don't know. But yeah, haven't they cleaned up? Lovely. We've got some fresh bulbs in and they're ready to go now. I've removed the old windows that had fallen to bits on the covers, and I'm just having to think about what to do about those. Whether I might just leave them open, or whether I end up putting gluing something else on the inside, some plastic or something maybe to put over there. I don't know. I'll see if I can find something, but yeah, really pleased about them. Salvaged from the back of a garage. So what about wiring then? So as luck would have it, I've done a few tests and there's a cable here on both sides behind the headlights, which is actually Rolls-Royce's auxiliary lamp wiring that's already been pre-fitted to the car. So I've done some tests to see where these go to. So there's two on this side and there's two on this side, look, blue and black, and they actually go to this relay block here under the bonnet. So this relay block here, there's actually a blank relay there. There you go, you just see it there. And that is the AUX lamp relay. Front AUX lamps. So that blank relay is actually the wiring for the front AUX lamp. And I've just done some continuity checks and it would appear that those connectors that I've just showed you behind the lights come up to this relay. Not only that, this relay does have power when the ignition's on and the headlights are on. So I've got a power feed to the relay. I've also got an earth. The only thing I don't have is a switching connection, because there's a yellow wire that goes to this relay and it probably disappears off down and under the dashboard somewhere and probably ends up where a switch would have been fitted if this had had the box ticked for auxiliary lamps when it was built in the factory. So the only other thing I'm going to have to do wiring wise when I've connected everything up is run a switch wire to the yellow cable on here, or find out where the yellow cable goes into the car and add a switch. So most of the wiring is already done, so that's great, isn't it? Happy days. So what I've done is I've made up a couple of harnesses, one for each side, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to plug them into the existing connectors and then run them down to my fog lamps. So there's my terminals plugged in. I'll tape this up now to protect it from the elements, and then I'll run the cable down the back of the headlamps here and out underneath to where I'm going to mount the fog lights. If you're wondering how to take the headlamps out of a Silver Spirit, if you fancy doing this yourself and you've got a Silver Spirit, then you just need to check out the video that I did a while back. I'll put a link in the description where I removed the headlights. So there's my connector all insulated up, plugged in, and what I've done is I've brought that through this existing grommet there. You just see the blue cable there, and then it goes down. It follows the same route as the other cable there, and there's another grommet just behind the bumper, and it brings the cable out just there, ready for the fog lights. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then the wiring at the front here is ready for the lamps. Alright, so that's the knee side as well. There's my connector going onto the existing harness. and then coming out just down here now, ready for the lights. Happy days. So let me show you the solution I think I've come up for mounting the lamps. So I found these old spot lamp brackets in my toolbox that have been in there for probably 15 years, and I think they're going to be just the job. So underneath the bumper, just past this air duct there is a couple of pre-drilled holes. Can you see them there? So I think that's going to slot nicely behind there, look. But I am going to have to take that front bumper off to mount those brackets, but that's no big deal. It's only 2 bolts holds the front bumper on a Silver Spirit. Yeah, there's just a couple of big bolts. I've slackened this one off, and they just go up into like a captive nut. Quite a big bolt, but and then the bumper, there's one the other side, and then I think the bumper will come off. Right, I've got the bolts out the bumper, so I'm going to carefully lift it off. This does have headlamp washers though, so I'm expecting the pipe work to be in the way, if that makes sense. So we'll see if we can lower it down. Now there's plenty of slack on the pipe work, so that's okay. I think there's like a sensor on the other side, like a temperature sensor. So I'm just going to prop that up because I don't want it pulling on the cable. Well, there you go then, something a little bit interesting for you. What the inside of a Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit bumper looks like. This is the pipe work for the headlight washers. And you can see how a couple of the clips have come off the back of the bumper. They should be securing that onto the bumper, so I'll make sure they're back on. The other interesting thing is the temperature sensor for the internal temperature gauge, or the outside temperature gauge should I say. That has to sit inside that little hole there. Interestingly, Rolls-Royce have basically made a piece of aluminium and a bracket and 2 bolts and a rubber grommet just to have that poking inside, because that's the actual sensor. That's just to house it. So yeah, I'll make sure that goes back in. But yeah, apart from that, plenty of spiders' webs as usual, because this is the Silver Spirit Spider. And what this means is we can have a bit of a hoover out. I tell you what, I should have took the bumper off to do those horns. Look how easy those horns are to get to now with the bumper off, and the bumper's only 2 bolts. Why I didn't think of doing that last time around, I don't know. But yeah, I can basically double check those horns are secure now. I may even look to reposition them. One of my subscribers was on about if I turn them away from the front so that the water doesn't go inside. So I might look at doing that. There's not a lot of room on this side though for this one, so I don't think that one will turn. But yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Pipe work and everything's looking good for the various oil coolers and radiators. You can see my new hoses there, look, that I did in a previous episode for the power steering oil cooler, which is that. Yeah, just a bit of wax oil there, you can see. But yeah, we can see the washer bottle and everything, so yeah. Anyway, let's crack on and get these fog lamp brackets fitted, and we'll have a bit of a tidy up. Right, I've had a bit of a hoover out and got rid of some of them cobwebs and things, and I've secured this pipe properly because it wasn't clipped on. I don't know if you remember when we took the grill off months ago, and we noticed a random clip, didn't we, floating around. I've moved that round down to there because I think that's where it should be. Somebody's put some, I think this has been off before, it's had some Jubilee clips fitted onto the washer jets. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, those horns, I've had a look. I mean, that one there, I have changed the angle slightly, And I have moved this one a little bit. I think that one will be a bit higher up now, so that it won't be directly getting water going into it with a bit of luck. So yeah, I have moved the horns a little bit. You can see my wiring here, ready for the spotlights here and here. And I'm going to bolt the brackets on now. I've just blackened them up so that they look discreet. Just put a bit of black paint on those. So let's get them bolted onto the bumper. Before I refit the bumper, I'm just going to take the opportunity to clean the crud away from this edge here where it goes underneath the bodywork. You can see there where it's a little bit tarnished, so I'm going to clean that off. Alright, there's my left and right lamp brackets bolted on. So it's time to offer the bumper back up now and see how we look. Just got to remember to slip the external temperature sensor back in its home and then offer the whole thing up. I'm just tightening the bolts up and then I'll bring you in for a look. Alright, there we are, there's the bumper back on. And let me bring you down and show you what the brackets look like. There we are, very discreet, aren't they? Very discreet. Just the job. There you are, look. So, I need to mock up fitting the lights now and see what they actually look like. And then we'll carry on with some wiring. Yeah, that horn, look now, it's up behind the bumper, so it's not in direct line of spray. So yeah, and the other one is, I've been able to turn the other one around a little bit. Somebody did ask me about these 999 numbers on the last video, and those of you that have been with me from the start will know that this was done in the factory. This is the last 3 digits of the chassis number, and it's written on a lot of the parts that have been fitted to this car so that the factory know that this bumper was for this car, and various other things like door cards, switches, you name it, trim, carpets, they've all got the last 3 digits of the chassis number on the back. But yeah, pleased with them brackets, and you can't see them from the front either, so they're just nicely fit around the air dam. So alright, let's carry on. Alright, I'm just getting the lights into position now, making good the connections. I'm just going to use a bit of shrink wrap on the, or heat sink, whatever you want to call it, shrink wrap, just to insulate the connectors. A bit of shrink, and then we'll get them taped up and tidied up and look at the rest of the wiring. So for this project, because there isn't a existing switch in the car for front augs lamps, fog lamps, whatever you want to call them, I've decided for the time being I'm going to power these, or switch them should I say, from the main beams. So when you put the main beam on, the auxiliary lights that I've fitted will come on. And then in a future project I may investigate adding a separate switch to the inside of the car. Strictly speaking though, these would be classed as fog lamps, with them being below the bumper. So like I say, in a future project will be to to run a separate switch for these, but for now I'm just going to power them off the main beams. So here's Rolls-Royce's existing connector, which I just want to explain to you how this works. So this is a relay that I've just popped in to see if it's going to work, and this is the existing wiring. So you see those two blue and yellow cables there, they go to the positive side of the light. Then you can see that red and yellow down there, that's the power feed, which will be fused to this relay. Then if I turn it around, you can see the black cable, that's your earth. So the only other cable that's left is, see that orange one, that's what we call the switching wire. So that wire there, originally, if this car was spec'd with these AUX lamps from the factory, that orange cable will disappear off to a switch somewhere. So a future project that I'm probably going to look into at some point is seeing where this goes. I'm expecting that it'll come out inside the car, because I think there'll be a good chance that that orange switching wire will probably come down behind this box, but it will involve taking this center console out. Now in the future I am going to take the radio out as well, so maybe that's a good time when I've got this stripped out to have a look and see if I can see where that orange cable comes out behind here, and maybe fit another switch. But like I say, for the time being I'm just going to power them off the main beam, and we'll get to see them working, and that'll do me for now. I think it's only really for the aesthetics that I've fit these lamps. So but yeah, be nice to have them working. So I'm going to go into this connector here for the main beams, and I'm going to take a positive feed from here, run a cable up and connect it to this orange, and that'll mean that when I put the main beams on, the auxiliary lamps that I've just fitted will light up. So I'm going to finish that bit of wiring off now and get them working for you, and then we'll take a look and see what you think. So there we are, you can probably just see the blue cable, the blue trigger cable that I've run from the main beams. It comes up, follows this harness along, you can just see it there, and then it goes down and it's all nicely soldered in, and there's my new relay fitted into the original relay block. So all we need to do now is test them and see what happens. Right, I'm all done and the sun's starting to set, so let's get the final shots done quickly, because I'm sure you want to take a look. Come on, let's go. Well, there we are then, guys. What do you think? I'm really liking them. I think they look great. I'm just going to show you what they look like with the covers on. Yeah, I'm very pleased with them. Like I said at the start of the video, I've always liked the look of these Rolls-Royces with the auxiliary lamps fitted, so now mine has the same. Happy days. Well, there we go then. The lamps are fitted on the car. They're working and I think they look really, really good. I'm really pleased with them. However, I do think a future project is to fit a separate switch for those lamps, and it'll probably happen at some point in the future. I've had a look at the center console. It looks like it needs to have quite a lot of parts stripped off to get that center console out. If anybody knows, let me know, but it looks like the dash top has to come off. Then I imagine the wood fascia from the dashboard needs to come off to get to a couple of clips in the top of that center console. So if I'm working in that area in the future, that's probably a good time to see about fitting a separate switch for those lights. But for now, I'm just happy that they're on the car. They are working when I go onto main beam, and I just like the look of them. That was the main reason I put them on. They're probably not going to get used very much, but I just like the look of them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the episode. My first modification on the Rolls-Royce, something just for me. If you liked it, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe, and give me plenty of comments. Let me know what you think. And we're closing in on that day now for MOT readiness. It's only a few weeks away, and hopefully I can get this car on the road and start to enjoy it. Take care, look after each other, and I'll see you next time on Life on Cars. Bye now, bye bye.